کنفرانس با نمایندگان مجلس عوام و مجلس اعیان انگلستان در حمایت از قیام سراسری مردم ایران، نه به رژیم زن ستیز آخوندی، آری به جمهوری دموکراتیک. سخنرانی خانم مریم رجوی. ایران در انقلاب دموکراتیک، فاشیسم دینی در آغاز پایان. خواسته های ما از جامعه بین المللی و طرفداران حقوق بشر و دموکراسی به دوران مماشات که نخستین قربانی آن مردم و مقاومت ایران بوده، یک بار برای همیشه پایان دهید. دیگر بس است. سفارت‌های رژیم را تعطیل و ماموران و مزدوران را اخراج کنید. این رژیم نماینده ملت ایران نیست و مشروعیتی ندارد و باید از همه سازمان‌های بین المللی اخراج شود. سپاه پاسداران و وزارت اطلاعات رژیم را در تمامیت لیست‌گذاری کنید. حق مبارزه و مقاومت مردم ایران برای سرنگونی فاشیسم دینی را به رسمیت بشناسید. قیام‌ها بر اراده مردم ایران برای سرنگونی رژیم آخوندها تکیه دارد و از هیچ قدرت خارجی تأثیر نمی‌پذیرد. اعضای مجلس عوام و اعیان در این کنفرانس بر حق مشروع مردم ایران برای دفاع از خود در قبال رژیم آخوندی تأکید کردند، خواستار لیست‌گذاری تروریستی سپاه پاسداران و بستن سفارتخانه‌ها و اخراج مزدوران رژیم شدند، از آلترناتیو دموکراتیک شورای ملی مقاومت و طرح 10 ماده‌ای خانم رجوی پشتیبانی کردند.
Honorable members of the UK Parliament, it is a pleasure to talk with you. We are holding this conversation while the great nationwide uprising of the Iranian people to overthrow religious fascism has reached day 70. Today, the UN Human Rights Council is holding its special session on the worsening human rights situation in Iran. Formation of a fact-finding mission regarding brutal crackdown on the protests and holding to account those responsible for these crimes are necessary. The Iranian uprising in these 2 months has made clear its features, goal, and the model it seeks for the country's future after the mullah's overthrow. First, I will point out the uprising's features. The protests have roots in Iranian society's desire for freedom, justice, and liberation of Iranian women. They rely on Iranian people's resolve to overthrow the mullah's regime and are not influenced by any foreign power. The regime has made all its efforts to stop the uprising, but it has failed so far to achieve its goal due to 2 factors. First, the explosive conditions in the society, and second, the role of the resistance units and the PMI's network inside Iran in organizing the uprisings. The regime officials have acknowledged this fact many times. Recently, Deputy to Khamenei's representative in the IRGC said 50 of the identified leaders of the uprisings are from the PMI. the commander of the state security force, and some Friday prayer leaders have repeatedly emphasized on the role of PMOI members as leaders of the uprising. In an interview with a US radio station, the regime's foreign minister claimed Western governments had sent PMOI members to Iran to form the uprisings. And the IRGC commander blamed young protesters and asked whether they wanted to gain power with the PMOI. The other issue I must explain is the alternative. Our people want to overthrow the entire regime. Therefore, they seek to destroy the Revolutionary Guards IRGC, which is the regime's backbone and its main force in charge of killing people. In their uprising and their chants, the Iranian people have expressed their desired alternative. That alternative has the following features. One, rejecting the rule of religious tyranny. Two, establishing a democratic republic and rejecting return to the Shah's dictatorship. Three, commitment to gender equality and rejection of forced veiling and all forms of misogyny. Four, emphasizing the separation of religion and the state, believing or not believing in a religion should not cause any privilege or discrimination against any citizen. Sunni and Shia are brothers and sisters. Five, defending the freedoms and equal rights of oppressed nationalities with autonomy within Iran's borders. Six, different parts of Iranian society have different beliefs, religions, languages, and nationalities, but today they are united in the struggle to overthrow the regime and rebuild tomorrow's free Iran. As you can see here, solidarity is coupled with pluralism. These are the central policies of a democratic alternative to replace the religious dictatorship, for which protesters have paid a heavy price. Distinguished members, a democratic revolution is in the making in Iran, and the religious fascism is on its last leg. The decisive force in Iran is the force of the Iranian people and their uprisings. The ruling regime has resorted to widespread arrests and killings, but it cannot change the course of the uprisings. If domestic suppression or warmongering abroad by using missiles and drones were effective, the uprisings could not start or continue. International policies towards Iran have always suffered from a fundamental lack. The reason is ignoring the role of the Iranian people and Western governments, incorrect assessment because of their economic interests. This view still dominates the policy of Western governments. As a result, despite the solidarity of the people and parliamentarians in the West with the Iranian uprising, the governments are unfortunately cautious in cooperating with the Iranian people. Our people and we don't expect or want foreign governments to interfere in Iran. Overthrowing the regime is the duty of the Iranian people and their resistance. We urge the international community and advocates of human rights and democracy to put an end to appeasement once and for all. The first victim of this policy are the Iranian people and resistance. Enough is enough. In the end, please allow me to emphasize two basic demands. The first one is for Western governments to accept the legitimacy of the Iranian people's struggle to overthrow the regime. They must recognize that the fight between young people and the Revolutionary Guard Corps is necessary, correct, and fair. The second demand is to declare the entire Ministry of Intelligence and the IRGC at terrorist entities, shut down Iranian regime's embassies, and expel their agents. This regime does not represent the Iranian people and has no legitimacy. It must be expelled from all international organizations. Any government will be on the side of the Iranian people when it recognizes the uprising to overthrow the regime and rejects the force of repression that is the IRGC. So long as Western governments do not take these two basic steps, the regime will use this situation to have open hand in slaughtering people. The Iranian people and protesters urge both houses of the British Parliament to lead a bold initiative to encourage the UK government to take these two necessary steps. I appreciate your efforts in supporting the Iran uprising. Thank you all very much.
کنفرانس خانم مریم رجوی گفت در حالی که ما به روز جهانی نفی خشونت علیه زنان نزدیک می‌شویم، باید تلاش کنیم خشونت سیستماتیک رژیم آخوندی و سپاه پاسداران علیه مردم ایران به ویژه زنان را محکوم کنیم و آنها را در معرض تحریم‌های همه جانبه قرار دهیم.
And as we approach the International Day Against Violence against Women, we shall try to condemn the mullahs and the IRGC systematic violence against Iranian people and especially women and subject them to comprehensive sanctions.